What if everything you believed, your purpose, your story, your very existence was an accident? What if the universe has no grand design, no guiding force, just silence? For centuries, we were told that life had meaning, that our suffering, our joys, our choices, they all led somewhere. But then something happened. A thought emerged, like a whisper creeping into the back of the human mind. The whisper became a question. The question became a plague. And soon, the thinkers of the world began to see the truth. The universe does not care, and it never did. This is the birth of existentialism. The realization that meaning is not given, it must be made. But can it be made? Or is the search itself just another illusion? And if meaning is an illusion, who or what is behind it? The absurd, when reality laughs at you. You wake up every morning, you follow the same routine. You chase dreams, expectations, goals, but deep down, have you ever felt something was off? A sense that everything repeats, that the world is running on a script. This is the absurd. The moment you realize the universe is indifferent, you seek meaning, but the echoes return empty. Albert Camus, one of the key existentialist thinkers, spoke of the myth of Sisyphus, a man condemned by the gods to roll a boulder uphill, only to watch it roll back down for eternity. It is a cycle without meaning, a struggle without purpose, a punishment, it seems, until Camus argues otherwise. He tells us we must imagine Sisyphus happy, but why? How can a man trapped in endless struggle find happiness? Because the moment Sisyphus accepts his fate, the moment he stops resisting, he is no longer a prisoner of it. He owns his suffering. He does not seek meaning where there is none. He simply exists. And that is where the absurd becomes terrifying. Because if accepting the absurdity of life is true freedom, then fighting against it is the real prison. The search for meaning itself may be what traps us. Think about it. How many people in history have spent their lives chasing purpose, only to find nothing? How many have looked for answers, only to spiral deeper into the unknown? And what if those who claim to have found meaning are simply clinging to illusions? Some say the absurd is not just a concept, but a force, one that punishes those who question too deeply. Have you ever noticed repeating patterns in your life? Uncanny coincidences, the same faces, the same situations, looping like a record stuck on repeat. Perhaps the absurd is watching, and perhaps, the moment you truly understand it, you vanish. Bad faith, the lies we tell ourselves. Who are you? No, not your name. Not your job, not the labels others have given you. Who are you when no one is watching? Jean-Paul Sartre, one of the most influential existentialist philosophers, believed most people never answer this question, not because they can't, but because they don't want to. He called it bad faith, the act of lying to yourself about who you are, to escape the terrifying responsibility of true freedom. Think of the businessman who convinces himself that his entire identity is his job. He tells himself he has to keep climbing the corporate ladder, that he has to chase promotions, wealth, and approval. But in reality, he doesn't. He chooses it every single day, and that choice makes him uncomfortable. So, he lies to himself, pretending he has no choice at all. Think of the artist who never creates, the one who calls themselves a painter or a writer, but spends more time talking about their art than making it. They say they're too busy or not ready. They dream of the day they will finally begin. But what if they never do? What if they never meant to? Bad faith is the escape route. It's the excuse that lets you avoid responsibility for your own existence. It allows you to say, "I have no choice," when in reality, you are choosing every second of your life. And here's the part that will keep you awake at night. If you stripped away all those excuses, all those identities, all those lies, what would be left? Sartre believed that without bad faith, we are faced with radical freedom, the crushing realization that we have absolute control over our own existence, that every action we take, every decision we make, is entirely our own. There is no script, no destiny, no safety net. Only the choices we make and the consequences we face. It is easier to lie, to wear the mask, to believe we are who the world tells us to be. But deep down, in the moments of silence, in the mirror late at night, do you ever feel it, that whisper of doubt? What if the life you are living is not your own? What if you have been playing a role, following a script you never wrote? What if the real you has been buried under layers of bad faith? And now, after years of pretending, you don't even know who you are anymore. The eternal return. Would you live this life again? What if everything you have ever done, every moment you have ever lived, was destined to repeat, over and over, forever? This is the eternal return, a thought experiment, one that has haunted philosophers for centuries. It comes from Friedrich Nietzsche, a man who dared to ask, if you had to relive this life exactly as it is, without changing a single thing, would you say yes? Imagine it, every mistake, every regret, every failure, every heartbreak, every night you stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, wishing things had gone differently. Now imagine that it will all happen again, exactly the same. Every moment, every word, every breath is identical, unchangeable, not once, but infinitely. Most would recoil at the thought. The weight of their past mistakes would crush them. But Nietzsche's question was not meant to terrify, it was meant to test. Because the only way to escape the horror of the eternal return is to live a life you would willingly repeat, a life where every action, every decision, is something you could accept and embrace forever. But here is where the mystery deepens. What if this isn't just a thought experiment? What if it is real? Some physicists suggest that time itself is cyclical, that the universe has expanded and collapsed before, and will do so again. That history is not a straight line, but a spiral, repeating endlessly in patterns too vast for us to comprehend. Have you ever felt déjà vu? A moment that feels eerily familiar, as if you've lived it before. What if that sensation isn't just a trick of the mind? What if it is a glimpse into the cycle, a brief awareness that you have done all of this countless times? If the eternal return is real, then every choice you make echoes through eternity. Every hesitation, every missed opportunity will come back to haunt you not once, but forever. And the worst part, you will never remember. Each cycle begins new, with no knowledge of the ones that came before. You were trapped, reliving the same story, convinced it is the first time. Unless, of course, you've started to notice the patterns. Unless the illusion is beginning to crack. unless something deep inside you is whispering, "I have been here before." Conspiracy theories, the hidden meaning in meaninglessness. If life has no meaning, then why do so many work so hard to control it? Existentialism tells us that meaning is an illusion, that we create it ourselves. But there is something strange about that idea, because throughout history, powerful forces have fought to define what meaning is. They tell you what to believe, what to value, what to fear. But why? If life is meaningless, why do they care what you think? What if the real illusion is not that life has no meaning, but that meaning itself is being manipulated? Take the concept of reality itself. Many conspiracy theories suggest that our world is not what it seems. The simulation hypothesis, for example, proposes that we are living in a constructed reality, one designed by an intelligence far beyond our comprehension. If true, then what we call meaning is nothing more than lines of code, scripted to make us believe we have purpose. Then there's Project MKUltra, a real program, in which the CIA experimented with mind control, attempting to manipulate human perception. If the government was willing to alter reality through psychological means, how do you know the meaning you find in life is truly your own? What if it was planted there? What if your beliefs, your desires, even your very sense of self, have been shaped by forces you cannot see? And let's go deeper. Some believe that knowledge itself is being restricted, that those who question too much, who search too deeply, begin to vanish. Have you ever heard of the philosopher's disappearance phenomenon? A pattern noticed by conspiracy theorists, where thinkers who challenge the nature of reality either go missing or die under mysterious circumstances. Friedrich Nietzsche, who questioned morality and meaning itself, was said to have descended into madness after staring into the abyss. Philip K. Dick, the writer who explored simulated realities, claimed he had visions of hidden knowledge before his untimely death. Even Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, was sentenced to death for corrupting minds with dangerous ideas. Coincidence? Or evidence that those who seek truth beyond the illusion are removed? And now, the question you have to ask yourself is this: how deep have you gone? How many of these ideas have you entertained? Because if this theory is correct, if meaning is not just an illusion, but a carefully controlled system, then simply asking these questions might put you on a path you cannot return from. Are you willing to keep searching, or have you already gone too far? The final mystery: if nothing is real, who is watching? We have questioned everything: meaning, identity, reality itself. But now, there is only one question left. If life is absurd, if meaning is an illusion, if existence is a cycle we cannot escape, then why does it all feel so orchestrated? Think about it. You were born into a world where you are told who you are before you even have a chance to decide. You are given a name, a language, a belief system. You are told what is real and what is not, what to pursue, what to fear, what to desire. But who decided all of this? Who created the script that billions follow without question? Some say it is human nature, a product of evolution. Others say it is society, shaped over centuries. But some believe it is something else entirely, something watching from the edges of perception. Have you ever felt like you were being observed? Like your thoughts, your doubts, your realizations were not entirely your own? There are stories, whispers of those who push too far, into existential questions and begin to notice anomalies. They claim that once you see the illusion, it sees you back. Some describe patterns in reality shifting, as if reacting to their thoughts. Others speak of sudden, unexplainable encounters, strangers who seem to know too much, conversations that hint at something just beyond understanding, a presence always just out of reach, as if the world itself is testing them. Is this paranoia, or is it proof that questioning existence comes at a cost? Ancient religions, secret societies, modern intelligence agencies, so many have guarded hidden knowledge throughout history. What if they are all connected? What if the final truth is so dangerous that those who approach it are stopped before they reach the end? And now, here you are, listening, thinking, wondering if this is just a story, or if something deep inside you already knows the answer. So I will ask you one last time, if nothing is real, then who is watching? Or perhaps you already know.